Hola, bienvenido al coleccionista HN. Hoy tenemos
Buen día, estamos en la revelación del USS GUNSHIP, así que miremos qué Lego nos preparó. Ya se había revelado este set el día de ayer, pero miremos qué es lo que Lego nos tiene.
Hi, my name's David Hall, otherwise known as Solid Brick Studios on YouTube. Lego has sent over a very large package. They told me it's
Qué
Lego
buen
Star Wars
fondo tienen.
related, and that's it. So I don't know what's inside. I have an idea of what it could be. It honestly gives me goosebumps thinking about the set I hope it is. So we're just going to have to unbox it
Revela el set.
and find out for ourselves. They also told me we're going to be doing a question and answer with the Lego Star Wars design team, so that's also really exciting. Definitely stay tuned for the whole video to see that.
Ey, miren
ado,
el fondo que tiene el AT. El AT es más grande de lo normal. ¿Será nuestro AT USS? No lo creo. Wow, una gran caja. Qué expectante, señores. Se supone que la caja viene con el logo del Imperio, no de la República. Cosa que dudo, miremos si es cierto al final o no. La caja es muy grande, eso sí. Pero creo que es del mismo tamaño de la cantina. Sí, está del mismo tamaño de la cantina. Señores, todo el año esperando este tema. A ver. Tiene el logo de la República, estamos bien. Caja elegante, diseño sencillo. Y el logo de la República. Sí, era muy extraño que fuera el logo del Imperio.
Oh man, it's the
Ahí
Ultimate
está.
Collector Series Republic
Gunship. 3292 piezas.
Better in person.
Tal cual dijeron los leaks. Y ahí está Mace Windu en la parte de arriba, se puede notar. La verdad que no hay mucho para donde ver.
Incredibly heavy.
Ya, está muy pesado. Eso se nota lo pesado. Tengo la caja del Mos Eisley aquí, así que les digo que es del mismo tamaño.
Front image. I'm ready to do this. On the back of the box, there's multiple images from.
Sí, esto es lo que se filtró el día de ayer. Está más detallado aquí.
There's some information on its dimensions. It's over 2 feet long and over 2 feet wide. There is additional details that we'll be talking about here very soon. There's even details for the rocket launchers on the very top of the Republic gunship.
Aquí habla de los cohetes del Republic Gunship.
And as you can see, based off the minifigures to the scale of the model, looks to be pretty big.
La verdad que todo el mundo se quejó de las minifiguras por ser Mace Windu y un clon y no lo que se había dado. Lastimosamente vieron que no es Cody. Ah, vienen unas cajas. Wow. Bueno, no vienen las piezas normales. En una caja creería que el manual. Más piezas. Y obviamente el manual está en la parte de abajo.
I know a lot of Lego Star Wars fans are a little bit mixed on keeping their boxes, but I have to say this is one of the most beautiful boxes, box art, and just.
Definitivamente esa caja es de cuidarla.
Do not throw this box away.
Es una caja altamente coleccionable. Son muchas bolsas, creería que son como 19 bolsas, 16, perdón. Ahí se nota el fondo, 16, creo que son unas 16, 17 bolsas.
Here's some of the new special elements that are
Sí,
included in the set.
los vidrios,
As you
como
can
dijeron los
see,
leaks, son
a
los...
lot of brand new exclusive printed pieces
Yeah.
for this set.
Me dice que son vidrios,
Got some technical
palabra,
cards also.
con impresiones exclusivos, la verdad que es cierto.
And here
Pero si bien,
is the instruction booklet that's included.
tiene muchos
Stickers are
stickers.
also in this packaging.
Stickers. Voy a ir a preferidas impresas. Pero comentaba, los vidrios son los mismos de los intersectors, pero con presión propia.
LAAT, or Low Altitude Assault Transport. There's some more information here on the plaque sticker, and boy, can I not wait to put this on.
Sí, la placa propia de cada USS.
Here's our very thick instruction booklet.
Wow, son grandes.
Is over 500 pages
Quitamos
long.
la versión negra que maneja los manuales, vean la versión clásica de los colores. Los USS en color negro la mayoría de las veces.
Absolutely crazy. I cannot wait to start building this. So what's very special about the Ultimate Collector Series Republic Gunship is it was actually the winner from a poll from earlier in February of 2020 where
está mencionando que se ganó este USS es el ganador de la votación del año pasado.
What the next UCS set would be. Between those was the Republic Gunship, the Nebulon B frigate, and a TIE bomber. The Republic Gunship was the winner, as it states right here in the very first page when you open.
Lo que menciona es que la competencia fue del año pasado, fue entre este USS Gunship contra el Nebulon y contra el TIE Bomber, y obviamente ganó el Gunship.
Moving on to the next page, you can see Jens and Hans. Hans was actually the
Son los diseñadores de este modelo.
He's also the designer of the very iconic
Es muy grande.
series Millennium Falcon, so I have no doubt that this will be quite the incredible build. I absolutely love this line. The shroud of the dark side has fallen, begun the Clone Wars has.
Es la mención del inicio de la guerra clónica. De hecho, ahí apareció la Gunship la primera vez, episodio 2.
And I could not be more thrilled. I actually remember seeing this and those Star Wars ship breakdown books.
Estoy autoespoileando viendo esto, pero genial.
Can't believe they included that in the instruction booklet. Man, it's just.
Creo que lo que me molesta de la Gunship es que no venga con stickers para colocarle a los lados.
So this is pretty cool. There's actually a page called
Habla sobre el origen de las tropas clones. Como les digo, todo esto empezó en el episodio 2.
Camino for the first time, realizing that 200,000 units were ready and more than 1 million on the way. That's pretty cool. That's very exciting to see in the instruction booklet. So it's broken down into 17
De ahí son los manuales.
sections, so you can see the different
Del 12, 17. Son 17 bolsas.
Huge build. I absolutely love. I haven't even built the model, and I'm just seeing the color scheme right here. This looks so good. And now we get to start building.
Bueno, la construcción es que le vamos a hacer un speed. Obviamente cuando consigamos el set vamos a hacer lo mismo nosotros. Como les comentaba, los vidrios decía que son exclusivos del set, en el sentido de que tienen impresiones propias, son propios del Intersector, como comentaba, son el mismo vidrio del Intersector.
You guys just want to start with like a quick introduction of who you guys are, what your role is at the LEGO Group?
Yeah, I'm Jens Frederiksen. I am design director and I am
Son los diseñadores de este set.
for Lego Star Wars.
Son dos daneses. De hecho, si tienen manuales, han aparecido muchas veces.
I guess that would be my hands. Jens handed me the task, and then I took over. And yeah, as you can imagine, with a set of this size, you have more time.
Miren el fondo que tienen todos los nuevos sets. Miramos algo nuevo.
And yeah. As it turned out,
ahí está la Gunship para arriba.
In order to meet the price point, I had to spend quite an amount of money.
Miro algo sospechoso al fondo, pero.
Why we are having this quite sizable model sitting here with a quite spectacular wingspan size.
No, absolutely. So I am currently, as we just talked about, I'm in the midst of building my model right now. Haven't gotten to the wings yet, but I'm already just like shocked about how long it is getting to already. I'm just like, okay, I was building the first section right here. I was like, oh, this isn't too big, and then I like add this next portion on it, and I'm
Menciona
like,
que
oh
por
my
sí,
god, this thing
siendo
is
la
getting
mitad,
huge.
se ve
Well,
muy, muy grande.
exactly what I just told Jens, what I was expecting the building experience would be for people. Once they build this section first here, I was thinking, wow, this is quite sizable. And then they have to build this long boom and put it on here, this huge overhang. And that's when everybody will start to realize, wow, this will be the size of this model. Oh boy.
Sí, menciona más que todo el tema del
Very nice.
tamaño. Cuando vas
So
construyendo se
I'm
nota
actually
que
gonna be interviewing you guys while attempting to continue to build the set. So we'll see. I've never done this before, so this is fun. But let's go ahead and get into some of the questions that I have for you guys. So the first question I have is: this was a set fans voted for. Was it hard designing a set that had much more pressure than usual since
hablan que
expectations are
como
so
este es un
high?
set votado
Yeah,
por los
you know,
fans, hubo
we're
presión para
professionals
hacerlo.
here, and I would say the pressure is more or less the same. Doesn't matter if it's a small set or an especially big set or whoever wished us to make it. At the end of the day, it goes through a usual process, needs to be approved by Lucasfilm, and there's always the same pressure to get it right.
I would say either because it was a fan vote for some, but because of that, I felt a little bit of pressure. Yeah, we're always doing our best, and we are super happy with the result. But a fan vote, that's something that then people really, really want it, and then it just have to be perfect.
So the next question I have for you guys
Lo que mencionaba que
is,
sí no estuvo
what
tanta
was
presión,
the
pero sí se
first
tiene que
part you
pasar
kind of
por el
started
tema
with
de Luca
designing the
Fields,
set?
pero sí
Was it
sintieron
the
un poco de presión
wings?
al
Was it the
trabajarlo.
body? Was it the these turrets here in the front section? What was the key thing? You're like, okay, let me start here and then build off that.
Yeah, I usually go and try to identify the key component that would determine the size of the set. The question is, does a model have a windscreen? In this case, it's a big yes. So the windscreen, the cockpit area is quite prominent on this model. So the question is, do we have existing pieces we could use, or do we even have to create new elements?
Sí, comentaban que fue el
As you
argumento
know, our
más
windscreen
complejo para
elements usually
poder
come
en el
in the
set.
size of either
Mencionó el
4
tema de las
wide
ventanas,
or 6
de
wide.
que las ventanas no
4 wide is
existían.
usually the good size for a playset. But for UCS, we have to go bigger. It means at least 6 wide. In this case, it turned out the windscreen we used for Jedi Interceptors
Sí, lo que comentaba que usaron unos vidrios del
quite good
Interceptor,
shape
pero
and size. And by using 2 of them, well, they pretty much get the cockpit area down with a nice decoration, 2 different decorations even in this case. And I went pretty much from there. And then I knew, okay, this had to be at least 6 wide here, the whole body, then 8 wide. And from there, I drew the model, built the outline first until I got the proportions right.
So yeah, we can say in many cases there are certain elements that are just right that kind of determine the size of a build.
And it's always nice if you can use existing pieces.
Yeah.
In this case, the Interceptor windscreen.
Yeah.
I like it. I feel it's very Lego.
sí, lo
When I
mencionaba
first
que
saw
sí,
the
son piezas
gunship,
existentes, pero
originally I
los
thought
vidrios
the
fueron
ball
nuevos,
turrets on
realmente
the
para el
side of
set.
the ship, I thought they were the smaller. I guess they're, I don't know what the Lego element ID is, but I thought they were like the 6x6 sized ones. And when I pulled them out of the box, I realized I think these are like the 8x8 style little. I guess I don't know what the exact name for this is, but it's the one that you find in like the Mos Eisley Cantina on the top right here. It's actually the biggest size.
Esos son los sets, son
I was
los
just like,
tapones
oh
de
wow, this is
Moscaitina, me
just
los ven
even
aquí.
bigger than I
Son color
originally thought
beige,
it would be.
pero lo hicieron
Yes, at
transparente
first
con
I
una
also
tira
looked into
color
the
gris.
smaller
Son
6
las tapas de
wide
las casas
half-ball
que usan
elements,
en Tatooine.
but they turn out a little too small. In fact, if you have a really close look at the reference, you will see that these balls are a little smaller than the ones in the wings, but we don't have 9 wide balls, so I went with an approximation in both cases. Also, what I wasn't sure about if there are also gunners sitting in the wings, but it turned out these are more like automated turrets, and gunners or clone gunners are sitting in the front turrets. So they also needed seating and a control panel, all the details.
Well, I think it looks quite
El tamaño de las
impressive with all the
dimensiones,
features.
tienen que tener algo. O
Was
sea,
there a
si el
lot
torre
of
tiene que ser
different
las salas de
complicated
las mismas
techniques
dimensiones.
used to build the gunship, or did you have to come up with something new that had never been done in a set you previously had designed? And then what would you consider the overall difficulty? You know, this is obviously an adult 18 plus set. You know,
¿Qué
would you
consideran lo
consider
más
this one of the more
complicado de armar el
harder
set?
adult-oriented sets or easier?
Well, if you already built a Star Wars UCS sets in the past, you will be familiar with any of the construction principles. You will find an internal frame that keeps everything together, holds together, and supports the weight. In this case, I try to keep it minimal, because one thing I personally am not too fond is when I buy a Star Wars set, and then I have to spend an hour just building a Technic frame. I like a good mix of what they call system pieces and Technic pieces.
Dice que es una mezcla entre piezas de
visually,
construcción normal y
you
uso
might
de
see
manejo de
it
piezas
like
técnicas.
like
Y de hecho,
maybe
si ven el
system
esqueleto,
models.
es cierto, usan esas
But again,
piezas que
Technic
son,
is something that is very often
¿cómo se
used for strength
dice? Que se
and for
colocan
stability in the model. That's
en
why it's
los,
super helpful
bueno, en
to
laterales se pueden
mix.
pegar las piezas, no recuerdo cómo se
And I
llaman.
can see you already built
Esas
most
piezas
the
las ven en la
frame.
get page,
I
eso me
guess you
refiero.
will agree it's not overwhelming. It's just
Y es
that
cierto,
it's
se mezcla
simple and
bastante
it's
el
actually
técnico
very
trae eso.
narrow. I mean, the torso of the build of the model, the
Porque
gunship is very
el esqueleto no
narrow,
es totalmente
and
técnico
the
como otros
internal structure
sets,
is also very narrow. So
si lo observan.
I really try to minimize it. And in one case, I could actually reuse a building technique from the play theme gunships we had a couple of years ago. So it's been a while, and it's how the wings are attached. There's no complicated technique involved. It's really two technical slope bricks, the two holes, and the way you attach the wings, you put them on and push an axle through.
No es la que se puede
Just a
darle un
single axle
mecanismito
holds
para
onto the
poder
wing.
correr
So just one axle
la
holds
puerta de
onto
la
the
entrada,
wing.
hasta la
Just
pieza que
one
va al
axle
centro.
holding
Esta se puede
one
correr,
wing.
Jeez.
pero está bien
Yes,
que corra, la
so
verdad.
couldn't be any easier.
Well,
Eso
that's
con los que
awesome.
son mecanismos.
I'm also really interested. I haven't gotten to the part, but I know there's it's like a little structure underneath the wing. Is that part of the wing, or is that like the wing itself is kind of sitting on it? It's like that dark red injured part right there.
Like a little winglet. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, they don't support anything. They just close off from base. So we don't like holes. These type of holes, right? So it's just to as seamless as possible. So it's not needed for support. Just for completeness.
I guess that leads into my next question, which isn't necessarily about the ship itself, and I know a lot of people are going to wonder about this, is what was the decision behind the figures you chose to include in this
tema de
set?
las minifiguras.
Those two being a Mace Windu minifigure and
¿Por qué
a
escogieron esas
Clone
figuras?
Trooper Commander.
Yeah, the
Ajá,
minifigures in the UCS sets, you can actually more think of them as a decorative element, because very often, as you also know, the UCS models, they are not in minifigure scale, and it's also the case here. So, but we know people love minifigures, so we also love to add them to these UCS models, and it's of course minifigures that make sense in the context. So here with the Clone Commander and Mace Windu, we thought that was two pretty cool candidates for this set. And we are also very often making these minifigures exclusive. So also in this case, both Mace Windu and the Clone Trooper have
Están yendo por la
dedicated
tangente, no
torsos,
están contando la
heads,
pregunta.
and the helmets
Solo
that say
mencionan que las figuras son
Vader.
exclusivas,
In terms
pero
of
no dicen por qué
minifigures,
cogieron
the
esas.
stand is actually designed that you can take off two plates on the side, in case you don't wish to display slightly too small minifigures with the gunship. Just take off the plates from the stand where the minifigures are staying on. There you have just the gunship there, and you can play with the minifigures somewhere else.
But who wouldn't display these very cool minifigures with the models?
I wouldn't. I would play with the minifigures somewhere else.
Se fueron por la tangente, no
That's
están diciendo
awesome,
por qué
guys.
escogieron esas figuras, sino
So
que
that
son
kind of leads
geniales
into
y
the
que son
next
exclusivas.
question, which is, so this is something I was kind of wondering when I was looking at this set. I was like, could you do this? Is there any way to remove all the rockets on the upper part of the launchers? like in Attack of the Clones, when the heroes are pursuing Count Dooku, obviously in that scene they're like, "We're out of rockets, sir," and they tried to blast them down, they couldn't. Is there a way to take those elements out?
Well, actually, if you say rockets, I think the rockets are under the wings. But if
Sí,
if
mencionan que están los
projectiles
cohetes en
on
la parte
top
de arriba.
in
Si ven la
these
parte de la parte de
spinning
la caja, se
magazines, I
nota.
think these are missiles.
Ajá, ahí están los
And in the
misiles en la parte
movie,
de arriba.
I remember the scene when Gunship is taking off. You look at it from the back, and then these magazines spin, and the missiles are loaded into the launchers.
Yeah, you can say what's happening here. That's really you see that there's a view down on the gunship where the rockets are rotating. So that's something we have incorporated into the model. But we wanted to have it as it is in the movie.
So you say the rockets rotate. How does that function work?
Well, it's manually operated, but both magazines
Sí,
are linked,
menciona que
so
la
they
parte de que se
spin.
puede mover.
Yes.
But it's
Que
more,
no
it's
solo
just
es
like
una
if you turn one
pieza,
magazine,
no es
the
una
other one
pieza
will
solo
spin
colocada, las
automatically
pueden
the other
mover.
way. But it doesn't take long before you get
Es
to
algo
that
raro una
unlock.
USS, saben que la mayoría
They
solo
come
es
by surprise,
visible,
because you will expect
no,
to be
no se mueve
continuing with
nada.
something completely different, and then you will build the magazines, and it will take a surprisingly longer time because it's many small pieces.
How do you determine a set like this, especially where you've made a play scale model before? How do you determine the scale? Do you use other Ultimate Collector Series sets to kind of reference off of? I know one recently that was launched last year in 2020 was the UCS A-Wing, and that was a much bigger model, obviously. Do you take a look at that and kind of scale off things from there, or do you start somewhere else?
I think with this, as also Hans was talking about here, we are usually deciding on a price that we would like to, a price point that suits the model. So that's one thing, and then how do you say, scale is very different depending on what type of ship or model it is. As you say, the A-Wing, that's definitely another scale than the gunship here. And if you take, for
Sí,
instance, the
habla del
Star
tema de las
Destroyer,
escalas,
it's
pero la
a
verdad que esta
totally
es una
different
escala más
scale.
grande que
So
el Awin que
what we're
menciona.
thinking of here is actually that it's the right price, but also that it's a nice size model to display. We like to make them big generally because that allows us to add more detail. So it's actually many factors that and then also sometimes it's determined by certain elements that give the right size of the model.
And I think from there it comes down to designer's experience, how many loops designers need. I think usually, especially with 3D design support, we are usually pretty good at hitting things on the head without having to resize too much, because we can pretty much see at all times where are we price-wise. Even at a stage where half the pieces are still missing, but with the experience you can already guess how many pieces are still missing, how much do I need to add, am I over, or does it fit? What other costs are there? We have expensive printed elements, many minifigures, a big lineup of minifigures.
Bueno,
So you have to
concuerdo con las
calculate
buenas
in mind.
minifiguras.
But yeah, I think recently we have gotten pretty good at hitting the nail on the head, so to say, price-wise.
No, I think it's actually, I mean, when I took the set out of the box, I was like, this thing is heavy, like very heavy. And I'm sure when I'm finished the model, it'll feel just as heavy as the box did. I've already finished the bag talking to you guys. I got to go on the next one, so I apologize for the very loud clinking.
I've been doing that all day. Yeah, people are used to it.
Is there any new elements or new colored elements in this set exclusively?
Mencionan si tiene nuevos colores o piezas dentro del set, aparte de los vidrios.
I think we don't have any new shapes in terms of elements, but we have a few recolor elements in dark red. What comes to mind is these, on top of the engines and guns, there are 4x4 round bricks. I think they were not available in
Menciona que una
dark
pieza, la roja,
red.
que
They
está
may have
de
been
Miranda, es la
available
única
in the
pieza que
past, but they
se
were
recuerda
not
que
now,
puede
so
ser nueva.
in front, there are little 1x2 half bows, dark red. Those to recolor.
Yeah.
Also,
También las piezas de parte de la cabina son
some lime
nuevo
green in
recoloreo.
front. These bricks,
Y
these
también esos
inverted old
bricks de
bricks
enfrente son
on
nuevos
them
con nuevo recoloreo.
had to be color changed.
So, my next question is, we see the Republic gunship in both Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. What was the decision behind going Attack of the Clones for the theme for the gunship?
Well, I think we talked about it here in the office, and I think it was a pretty easy decision. And also, if you noticed, when we had the poll for the different models, we used the picture from Attack of the Clones. It is like the first appearance of the gunship, and yeah, we believe very impactful. The design of it is also different from the one in Clone Wars, where the one in Clone Wars doesn't have the big the gun turrets on the sides, which actually is a super nice detail. And then one other thing is we know that there have been a lot of requests from fans about that Lego should launch more models from the prequel movies. So that was also
Ok, mencionan
one
que
of the
preguntaron por qué
reasons
se inspiraron
for
en
choosing
Ataque de
this.
los Clones
My
y no
last
Revancha de los
question for
Sith.
you guys
Y era
is,
porque los
what would you
fans
consider to
quieren
be the
más de
most
las precuelas.
interesting feature or design of the gunship?
That's a tough one.
Escuché la pregunta.
Yeah,
I like to ask good, tough questions.
you will probably not guess it by looking at it, but at one point I had the problem that I needed to find a ball joint for the front guns here, a big ball joint, not the small ones we've been using for many years now, but had to be quite sizable. But we don't have anything at this side, not even remotely close. So the trick here was to use another element we recently developed, these little quarter ring elements, first found on the UX wing, on the engines. And when you take the smaller quarter and put them inside, then you get both. So you have the metallic inner workings of the ball joint and the white casing. So that was quite a neat solution to this problem, which otherwise would have probably required a new element. But this looks even nicer, even more Lego than entirely new element would have.
And that was a very nerdy detail from Hans there. I'll just say what I about this finding impressive about this is simply the fact that we've done it. Finally, we've done a UCS version of the Republic gunship. Size of the model, the level of detail, I love it.
Yeah, you're right. Just the fact that it is a model, a UCS model from the prequel trilogy is by itself an achievement.
Absolutely. I gotta say, that was definitely one of the cooler highlights. I was like, wow, that's actually really ingenious to use an existing
Más que todo
element
mencionan el
and
tema
use that
del
new
diseño de
element
la
to
parte de
combine the
enfrente.
two and make
El
it
video
look
se ha vuelto
like
bastante
it has
largo.
that illusion of looking a lot bigger, which is
Así que
really,
hacer una
really
presentación
honestly
más
quite
corta, pero
impressive.
sí.
That was definitely something I almost immediately noticed when I saw the box. I think you guys have really made quite the model, and I'm pretty confident in the fan community reacting pretty positive to what you guys have made.
Yeah, the nice part is you can immediately recognize it for what it is. It is like the space version of like an attack or transport helicopter. This narrow fuselage, the way the cockpit is located.
Más que todo preguntan por de la nave, nada
the passenger
interesante.
compartment. So it's clearly an assault ship.
Absolutely. I think that's definitely part of the appeal why so many people are so in love with the design of this ship.
Yeah, and sometimes the simplicity also makes things a little easier for me because it doesn't have landing gear, nothing, just lands in its belly, which saves me the trouble.
Of landing gear.
Yeah, of making a landing gear.
So, but we are really also listening to what people are asking for in that regard. So we're following different forums and so on. So we are, of course, we have our eyes open. So we're really with these models and when selecting them, we're just trying to make everybody happy. That's really what it's about. And it's easy. If you pick something like a Millennium Falcon, and I would say also Republic gunship, well, I think we hit it for a lot of fans.
Jens knows I like working on these big chunks of models, so it also makes me happy.
Awesome, guys. Well, again, I really appreciate your time for being here. Thank you for answering.
Parece que tuvieron una entrevista que fue muy larga.
This model, it is looking absolutely spectacular already. I'm seeing it through the webcam on you guys' end, and I'm just like, I want to get there. I need to build this faster. So, thank you so much.
Sí, me dejar el video.
Enjoy the rest of the build.
Yeah.
No encontré nada ahí del fondo que llamara la atención. Pero más que todo preguntas técnicas y no hubo así algo interesante. Excepto la parte de las minifiguras que se fueron por la tangente. Ahí está el tema de los juguetes que mencionaba. Ya están colocando.
Alright, so I just finished bag number 12 out of 17. The next bag, 13, will actually be the very first wing of the gunship. So there's the 2 wings, the 2 rocket launchers, and the 2 turret pods here in the front that are left.
Wow,
and actually,
se ve muy hermoso.
Set. So there's still a good amount to be still built. But so far, I am extremely impressed with the model. You can see the doors here do indeed open.
Sí, mencionaban eso del mecanismo.
De
hecho, no es un mecanismo tan técnico, pueden verlo. No se nota mucho.
The scale is massive. Other highlights that I'm just really impressed with, other than the swinging doors here in the back, is the rotating rockets, and we'll take a look at that here in a little bit once the model's complete. But I'm just looking around and just finding more and more amazing details and building techniques that I'm very impressed with personally. And it surprisingly feels like I'm building a bigger gunship. Like, it doesn't feel like a big Technic model and you're just adding all these things. It literally just feels like you're building the playset 2013 Lego gunship, but just in a much bigger version. So this is continuing to be quite the build. I'm ready to put these wings on. I'm ready to finish the model out. That is where we're headed now, is finishing this gunship. I'm beyond excited to fully finish it off. It is just massive this way. What are these wings going to
Me está intrigando hace ratos el CATM1 que está al fondo. Está súper detallado. Espero que ese no sea el USS de este año, porque es más grande que un AT normal, lo pueden ver. No sé si lo vean al fondo, eso me llamó la atención hace rato, estoy viéndolo. Pero creí que solo es un custom que hicieron para la escenografía. Aunque varios son sets que se pueden comprar, excepto el casco de Rex, que está al fondo también.
So,
no se terminada.
This is quite the incredible model.
No estoy de acuerdo, un modelo increíble.
Kind of lost with words right now, just how big, how massive, how detailed, how accurate.
Oh, mira la cabina, están bonitas.
Republic gunship ever could be. It's just that good. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's that good. I have, wow, just wow, just great job, Lego.
Definitivamente, excelente trabajo.
This might be my new favorite Ultimate Collector Series set that I've ever owned. Just quickly going through some details. Believe it or not, there is some functionality to this gunship. First off, you have doors that open on both sides. These are the back doors right here. And they work very smoothly and they feel very sturdy and attached. What's really cool is up at the top there is some
juguetes.
And they actually
Recuerden que las piezas Hawker que están en la parte de arriba son nuevas.
And it looks just like Attack of the Clones when it's rising up from the Geonosis arena and you see that gunship flying off into what would be the very
Sí, es que este set está inspirado en Ataque de los Clones, no en Revancha de los Sith. Creo que de ahí se escudan por las minifiguras que están usando.
I am fanboying out a little bit here. I will be honest. This thing is just that good. It includes 2 minifigures,
ahí está,
a Mace Windu, and a Clone Trooper Commander figure. Some of the other details
y no un
here
piloto.
There is some movable turrets.
Entonces, según nos indicaron, son figuras exclusivas del set. Pero creo que el clon yo lo he visto en otros sets.
Clone troopers would be in these pods right here, and they're lasering all the battle droids and just getting in there.
No me alegra que tenga bastante movilidad y no sea tan estático.
I'm just wow. Oh boy. Oh boy. Some other really cool details is the double pods in the wings, and then there's some missile cannons on underneath both sides of the wings, as well as in the doors on both sides. And then we're not even to the front yet, where there is a full detailed cockpit for both of these right here. Obviously the turrets here move in the front. So, oh, and one last thing, the back portion here, this also opens up
Ah, sí, se
just
me
like the
puede
real
bajar la
gunship as
puerta
well.
de atrás.
I am very impressed, actually.
No, está bien
There's
hecho
even some
eso.
detailing right here signifying where you
Este
hold
set
on
lo
to the,
veo,
I
a
guess it's the
diferencia de otros
netting
USS
for the
naves que
gunship.
no es
For
hueco.
passengers, you can see Padme,
Eso me gusta mucho.
Obi-Wan, and Anakin holding on to that as they're chasing Count Dooku and the Republic gunship. So, yeah, all the details are here. I'm just shocked. I didn't know you could get to this level of detail on such a vehicle like
No
this.
esta
I'm so
escala de
used
minifiguras,
to
recuerden
the
eso.
playset
Es una
version of
escala
the
de
set, and
USS.
seeing something so big and so detailed is just quite a change. Also, I love this stand. It's actually really well integrated. It's pretty cool how you attach
Sí,
it.
menciona el
It's
tema
not
del stand que está
complicated. There's
bastante bien
nothing
integrado.
technical about it. You just simply line this white piece up here into the middle area of the bay, and it just lays flat onto it very well. And it has the gunship position, if you will. The kind of
Esa
slip
pieza
that
blanca, se
goes.
fijan, no va
It looks
exactamente
good.
colocada,
It
sino
looks
que va
real good.
como una
There's
anclita, se
also a
puede
back
decir.
turret. I should also note that there is
Tiene
indeed
una torreta
a
también al
back
fondo.
turret on the gunship.
No, está bien,
I
súper
can't
detallada.
tell whether I like the doors closed or open on my model here.
Sí, eso es lo que no me gusta
It's
tampoco.
up to
Creo
you, I
que
guess, if
no
you want
cierra
the
toda la
doors open or
puerta.
not. Let me
Pueden hacerlo hacia
explain,
atrás,
but
pero no
where the
colocarle al
heck
fondo.
is this going to fit on my shelves? This
Creo que
thing's
eso le
huge.
faltó.
It's literally
De hecho, va a
the
ser un
width
problema cuando
of
toque
my table.
limpiarla.
Exactly the width. And this is like 30 inches. That's crazy. Holy cow. That is a very wide gunship.
Creo que eso es lo que no
and
me
it's so
gusta
long
del
too. I
set.
think it's
Que la puerta no se
27
puede correr hasta el
inches.
frente.
Something crazy long. It was an honor to talk to Hans and Jens for the Q&A. I wish I actually had the finished gunship so I could praise Hans on his amazing design here. It really is quite something. And when it comes down to it, if you're a fan of Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Clone Wars, or really just a Star Wars fan, you are going to enjoy this model. I know I'm going to be enjoying it for the years to come. Great job, Lego. Great job on the design team, because
De acuerdo, es un buen diseño.
Something special.
Y pues creo que terminó. No hay nada más. Pues no dijeron la preventa, si ya estaba. Así que bueno. Pues mis impresiones finales son, es un buen set, ¿vale la pena comprarlo? Sí, vale la pena comprarlo. Definitivamente lo recomendaría, sí. De hecho, búsquenlo, tal vez ya esté en preventa, voy a ir a ver ahorita y les comento. Fue un video largo, vimos el set a detalle, no vimos ni la fecha de salida, lastimosamente es el 1 de agosto, pero no la preventa. Voy a revisar la Lego Store ahorita. Les voy a hacer un video más corto porque sí duró bastante el video. Y como las impresiones finales, es un buen set. Vale la pena, vale la pena. Las figuras se están escudando de que es un set inspirado en el ataque de los clones y que el comandante Cody fase 2 no existía en el momento. Entonces, bueno, espero que el video les haya gustado. A mí me entretuvo hacerlo. Fue una reacción interesante, fueron preguntas sencillas. No, más que todo lo que tocaron fue el tema de las minifiguras, fue lo más interesante. Y diseño del set. Así que a mí me encantó. Espero que ustedes también. Bueno, se cuidan. Bye.